Hello, welcome to the Saturday show today. I haven't came back for a week. I think it's been quite a lot has happened in a week. As I was saying there, there's been indictment. There's been court cases, as you saw with Mr. Trump. Uh, I'll go back to that after. I have a lot to say on that. A lot of my views there and what's happening and what should happen. Uh, So that's what I'm gonna have to say now. I just have to go to the latest news then on what's on the front of the Irish Independent. It just says on the front page it says Weather Ireland, Dublin residents excavated, festival goers told to stay in tents, flooding disrupts trains as 40 metres of rain falls. This is just the weather in Ireland, I was saying there. Everyone has their views on them, and that's why so many people are going on holidays. Residents of Dublin suburb have been from the host following flooding in the area overnight. I see pictures of it all right. It's terrible, and the train, it's affecting the trains and all, and everything's been affected. It's just that's the on the front page there on the driver 19 dies and passenger injured in Donegal. Another terrible accident and fatality. I was saying a male teenager has died and one person has been injured following a single vehicle crash in Donegal in the early hours of the morning. Just delayed. That's just terrible. The accident rate, as I was saying, the guard that was on the radio there yesterday, he was saying people to slow down. That's the thing motto he was saying there. Just that's all it takes. I'm saying the same thing myself, just to slow down, and people are going too fast on the road. I was out on the road there. I thought the person behind me was driving erratic, and he was trying to pass me out. He was driving very fast. He wasn't doing the speed on the road. It's happening a lot. People need to really drive better, and it's not being attained to. Adhered to, in my view. It's terrible. People are driving terrible, and they get their license. They're not obeying the rules of the road. Yeah, that's what's happening there. So people drive. That's my just my thing today. Just to drive a bit more careful and slow down. That's all it's taken. That might cut down the accidents and the rates on the road. That's what I have to say. And that's the news then on the front of the Irish Independent. And then the nine top priority on Andy Farrell's World Cup to-do lists. Andy Farrell must feel like the student who began his leaving cert on fifth year, watching those who chose to leave it late cram their work on the finals. Well, Ireland are playing Italy today at 7:30, and that's the match that's on. I wish them all the best. Italy are getting better as well. As I was saying, they're getting better in every sense of the way, and it makes you think as well. The way this sport world has gone, the teams are getting better, and they want to beat Ireland. Ireland are the number one team, I'm saying, and New Zealand are getting better as well. So it's going to be hard for Ireland in the World Cup. In my view, it's going to be very hard for them, and I wish Andy Farrell all the best. He has a tough job there, and wish him all the best there, and hope that Ireland do very well in the World Cup. So now I'm just gonna go to the Irish Independent or the Bray People News. As I was saying, I didn't go back to this now for a while. What it says in the papers. I didn't make a video cam there. Uh, I decided to make an audio podcast today. Better for me, and I'm not really comfortable with video. As I was saying there, it's the what people want, but I don't want it. I prefer to do a podcast this way. And the special news then on this is on Wednesday paper. Shock as Brayman dies during French holiday. This Bray wheeler cycle in mourning after the sudden death of Simon McGowan while on a cycling trip in France. Simon was a leading surgery working at Belfast and used to split his time between Bray and Northern Ireland. So that's terrible news there. That's on the front page there, news on Bray people. It was terrible tragedy there that's going on every day, and so it's terrible. And then Bray will get Sinead Memorial, but house could become apartment block. I see all the things left beside there for Sinead O'Connor in the house, and it was a terrible week there, sadness, and I'm playing a lot of the music, and I was listening to 'em myself on Spotify. There's a good few albums there, and it's very good. All the albums there. And male arrested after drugs bust. It just says more about the drugs seizure in Bray. A juvenile male has been arrested in Bray following the seizure of a large quantity of cocaine. Garda said the arrest on Monday, July, comes as part of an ongoing operations as the Bray investigates the crime of selling and supply drugs in Bray. The drugs in Bray are terrible at the moment, and it's I'm saying that what the Garda are trying to do is wipe out all this supply, and it would be very good if they could do that. The night Sinead sneaked into a Bray open mic. I was saying that she was singing here in one of the pubs, and she got up and sang. It was great. It was on Facebook, and it's really good when you see things like this. Her music. I hope to bring out the album there. They're talking about that Sinead done. It would be very good, interesting to hear it. And housing group Wicklow site for first community led scheme. The law prosecute. This is uh, so it shows you a picture of it. The Lilac community led housing scheme in Leeds, England. It says, and then it says more new group is game changer for promoting working mums. It just says Owen McGar ran met the Wicklow women campaigning mums in business and giving them a child friendly space to grow. So that's then on this. And then man embroiled in Garda information leak case again gets date for sentence. Daniel Wade was given info for ex-Garda staff member, a Wicklow man who received information taken from Garda pulse system from a former civilian. So Daniel Wave of Charleston Grayson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of arrive and passive corruption on September the 6th and 9th at a known location. So county water quality high, but supply does need improvements, says that. That's the report he done there on the water supply. Funds of 424,000 to help rural roads and laneways. Simon Harris there has announced that for repairs and improvement works on rural roads and laneways. Well, that would be a great help there. I'm saying Festina Lenti joins Dublin Horse Show. Has been nominated on this year's charity in the positive strides. Then over 7,000 in counting raised in memory of late Wicklow man Lee Williams. Friends and friends of the late Cool man came together to mark the 1 year anniversary of the passing of fundraising in aid of Greystone cancer. And then that's the main news then on that. And then it just says more about thousands of aviation vans gather for 2 days of action and adventure in Bray. Sinead O'Connor remembered a dazzling Bray air to say. I was just seeing them in the back there, the Red Arrows. They were going on a control there on Sunday. I didn't go down there to it myself, but it seemed to go well, the air show, and the things that were in it. There was a lot of things there. But as I was saying, if you go to it once, you sometimes there's the same planes on display again. So I did see it before, and it is a very good show. I recommend people go to it. They had a program and everything there. They have a lot of airplanes in it if people are into aviation, and it's very good. If you look at this in my view, there's a lot of pictures there. They played a song there for Sinead O'Connor there during one of the things they were doing, one of the demonstrations they were doing, and it seemed to go off well. It was played on the radio as well. Sunbeam Verity shows raises the roof in Arklow. So that's that. And then on the agricultural farming, I see Tinahilly Agriculture Show. It's on Monday. Pat Walsh pictures the launch of the show. Wicklow ahead of a highly in summer calendar dating back to 1935. The historic agriculture show attracts over 20,000 visitors. This year's festival will see the return of fans' favourite dog and baby shows. The popular Best of Wicklow exhibition will return after a hugely successful launch last year. We like to promote and celebrate things. I was saying there, it went off for COVID, but it's back. The Tinnahealy show as good as ever. It is a thing I'd love to go to see. It seems very good. And then Kim's big love for miniature horses. This is the article that I throw every week, as I was saying, as I mentioned every week on my podcast. It just says David Metcalf, the journalist that writes on the Bray People, he met Kim Jackman to learn of her passion for tiny horses. She explained how she set up the Slaney Rose stud to breed miniatures and how she runs the Marina Fair show in memory of her late mother. As I was saying there, I was horse mad from the time I was born. I started riding when I was 8. They are the most beautiful creatures. So this article, if you have a look there for that, it's very good if you want to read it, and it shows you pictures, lovely pictures there. If you want to get great people this week, it's good reading. And then the first national camogie title secured by a Wicklow team. From 6 players turning up the first training session of the year to Wicklow being crowned Nancy Murphy champions last Saturday in St. Brendan's Park in Bohr. It was a great achievement there, and it shows you pictures there. They defeated Mayo in the final, and it's a great achievement when you see that. And then more about the World Cup. Football foundations needed in Wicklow. This article there for Brendan Lawrence. Wicklow lose Queen and Anya Gorman's World Cup came to a close in Brisbane today when Ireland secured a 0-0 draw. I was looking at it there. I looked at all the matches actually, and I was disappointed that Ireland didn't get more out of the groups, but they were up against good teams in the group. That's the only thing I'd have to say there. So if people know a bit about soccer, they'd know that, I suppose. And then light and protection. There's the matches that were played there last week. Light and Protection Ireland Senior Hurling Round 3. They're well into the senior hurling there in Round 3. It was Kiltegan 317, Avondale Bandaric 118. So that was the matches. And the scores there for Kiltegan, Shawnee German, John Main, he scored 2-6. Jack O'Toole 2 points. And then for the Avondale, James Malachy Stone 1-1. Mulconey 6 points. Cattle Baker was playing. Shane Brown. So the regulars there were playing as well in the football and the hurling. They play in the hurling, so it's tough going. So as I was saying there, and then Bray Emmets. This was the main match. Bray Drive for Five is very much alive, as I was saying. Bray Emmets 121. Carnew Emmets 112. So I make it. They've got 6 points in the group. If I'm wrong, people can get back to me on my podcast, but I think that's right. Bray in total control, according to this paper. They scored 121, which isn't a bad score. Christy Morehouse, he scored 110. Brian Nesbitt, 1 point. And then on the other team, Carnew Emmets, the main scorer, Padraig Dorn, 9 points. Justin Halls, Jack Doherty scored 1. He plays for the Hurl as well. And Dan Ramlin, 1-1. So the return of that match was good in my view. And Bray are going for the next match. I'm not sure. It'll probably be played next week. And then the next match after that, the other match, Glenealy 216, Era Oak 211. So that was a very competitive match as well. And Greystones didn't play bad there. Glenealy, the usual people that's playing. Gavin Weir 6 points. He's a great hurler. Gary Hughes is 2-1. And then for Era Oak, James Cranley scored 4 points. Anto Bourne 1-2 and Luke Dawn 1-1. So that's then. And then Kiltegan in the intermediate. This was intermediate. Graham's 15 points. Kilcool 1-11. So the score is there. Then they have another team there. Graham's James Bourne. He scored a point. Sean Kenny 1 point. And then for Kilcool, Kieran Doyle, Luke Evans, he's a great player. He scored 1-6. He plays for the Wicklow Senior Hurlers as well. Willie Cash 4 points. So they all play, as I'm saying there. If you look at all the teams there that's playing there, they all have a go there playing the different matches. And then another intermediate match was Western Gaels 3-13, Glenealy 1-12. So that was a good score as well. And Molloy's penalty save, a big moment for Carnew. Carnew 1-13, Ockham 1-10. So that was in the intermediate hurling as well. So that was the main talking point as well there. And more about then the Nancy Murphy Cup final. Wicklow's 115, Mayo 1-5. So that was that match there. And I was seeing very competitive there. Wicklow's Katie Turl and then Nancy Murphy, Deadly Dream come true for Brilliant Born. Shows you pictures there of the trophy and the manager, Wicklow manager Brendan Toven in St. Brendan's Park Ball. Wicklow manager delighted on the great return there. It's really good stuff there for Wicklow there. And then there's as I was saying there, the Wicklow Football Championship as well. There's a preview in the paper here. All set for thrilling matches there. Era Og, the Group 1, the Group 1 and Group 2 in the senior football, and the Era Og, St. Patrick's, Dunlavin, Tinahely, Ratnew, and Baltinglass in one group. And then in the other group, Blessington, Ontoka, Kiltegan, Bray Emmets, Avondale, and AGM. And the opening matches there was West Ratnew and Tinheely. That match was played last night, and I think the score was 1-8 to 11 points, and it was a draw. So that was the first match in it. There's matches now on today. I'll give you updates of them. Bray are playing at 5 o'clock, so that should be good. It is a terrible weather there for matches, and the conditions there. It just shows you a picture of the launch there with the players. Uh, Actually, the man that plays in goal there for Wicklow, Mark Jackson, he's playing for Baltinglass. And then Damon Bourne, Wicklow chairman, it shows you him with the trophy. Then Jack Gilligan, Blessington, Dan Keane, Era Og, and just shows you all the players there. And the promotion there is very good there, the promotion. And then more about the other grades, it shows you more about the intermediate football championship and the junior. So it shows you more about that. So as I was explaining the groups there, I explained them there, Group 1 and Group 2 in the senior football championship. And then Seaguns relinquish grip on first division playoff. It was Go United 3, Bray Emmets, Bray Wonders nothing. So that was that score. So there is quite a good few matches there to get through, and I will go through them. I look them up there, go through the matches there. There's matches on next week as well in the Wicklow Football Championship, and I'm sure they'll be going through them on the East Coast Radio as well. They always go through them, and then as I go quickly through the more news then on the paper, I just don't want to be. It's quite a bit of news on the Bray people today, and it gives you good updates of the Wicklow Championship, which I look at a lot. And then the more motoring extra, the car that he gives the review this week is the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's like something out of a new world here, like it can fly. It says the interior is exemplary. The variety of high-tech features include a panoramic curved display and a dual wireless charging. Connects to 12-inch digital cluster, and it looks a great car. So that's good. That's what reading there that motoring report. So if anyone is into cars, there it's good write-ups on cars. And so then I go to the last couple of pages in this paper. Cinepar Mott caterpillars are now common. This article is at this time of year, caterpillars sporting their Kilkenny colours are a familiar sight on Ragworth Leaves. It just gives you a review of that national trial. And then the dog article is Pete Wedderburn, animal doctor. Here's how to help dogs have longer lifespans. Purebred pups are durable but have shorter lives, according to what Pete Wedderburn is saying there. And then the film that's on Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, My Best Friend's Wedding, that's on Channel 4. And 10 Redican Place, that's 1971. That's frightening film. I saw it before. It's Richard Attenborough at his best, in my view. If anyone wants to look at that's on Great Movies, I think, on Tuesday. And the King's Speech that's on Sunday, Colin Firth, that's well worth looking at as well. It's a great film. And then this week in 2013, the hit they had was Wake Me Up, VCLR, and Love Me Again, John Newman's second. So that was the title. So that's the Bray People then. That's the last page on the Bray People. And then I got the Irish Independent Day on Thursday. There was more about the RTE fails back the red as financial crisis deepens. RTE is set to report a deficit in annual accounts for last year as the national broadcast financial woes deepen from the Ryan Tubby's seekers payments controversial. The broadcaster's annual report and accounts for last year have yet to be published. The Irish Independent understands RTE went back into the red last year after 2 years. So it's terrible when you read that. And then on the back of the paper, it shows you more about Vera Powell there. It shows end of the road likely. FE unlikely to seek replacement for Powell once review is over. I don't know what's happening there, so I can't really comment on it. But the FEI will be looking into that, and they'll be looking into the other things there. So I'm sure people will be looking into this and at the various different things. So it is interesting, but I just thought I'd comment on this. This is the Irish Independent that was printed on Thursday. I didn't really read it, but it just says more about this, and then I'll cost of full tank of home heating oil has jumped to more than 1,000 according to this paper in the Irish Independent. And then being an ad for your child, say parents of tragic Keeley. So and then climate change meant July was the hotter for 4 out of 5 people on Earth study finds. So what I'm going to start about is how the world is on fire and how people aren't helping themselves. First of all, I talk about climate, how it's got heating, how it's out of control. This world, as I've said, is on fire in every sense of the way. From climate control, from a madman in Washington, and he lives in Florida. People still backing him. This man is out of control. He's an idiot. He's a weirdo, and he has like a gang called kind of like the Ku Klux Klan that are supporting him. That's his fans. A lot of them. Maybe some of them aren't like that, but a lot of them. This man is out of control, and he really needs to be stopped. I don't know what I mean by stopped, but uh, I'm surprised people haven't took a shot at him, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. This man is really has to be stopped, and if this man gets elected, I don't know what will happen. This world is really in trouble. Uh, Forget about climate change. I hope people are listening to my podcast today because I think people should really look at Donald Trump. If this man gets in, the world is really in trouble. It's out of control at the moment when you see all the indictment. People want action against Trump in Washington, and I just hope they get what they want. This man is really hurting people. He says anything he wants. Today now he's put in a thing as well about this man. I will say more about it in my next podcast. I'll have to look into it, but this is terrible. It's on the RT news every day about Donald Trump. He's like a celebrity. That's the way I look at it. He's like a celebrity every day. But in my view, this man has to be stopped, and I don't know what way to stop him. Certainly, I wouldn't shoot him myself because you'd only do jail time for this. But he has to be stopped some other way, and I don't care what way it is. It has to happen. So that is the way I end my podcast. And I've done a lot of podcasts about Mr. Trump, and if people agree to my podcast, I hope they do. And I've heard people's views on Mr. Trump's before all over the world. if people want to join me to talk about Mr. Trump and about all the things he's done since he and what would happen if he was elected, just join me. You've seen my podcast before, and I'll be back with another podcast again. Now I'm not sure whether it be Sunday. There's a lot of matches here. Wicklow GEA matches are being played, and I think it's starting to take off now. So I hope you enjoy my podcast today, and just remember what I say. This world is out of control every way, from climate control to Mr. Trump. It's really in trouble. So I hope you listen to my podcast. Some people don't talk. Some people don't say this on news or anything. They just do the usual thing. You know what I'm talking about. So, thanks for listening and goodbye.